Hi, everyone.
Hello, everybody. We
Hi.
just before we start, we might have a little bit of an audio delay. I am still working out the technical difficulties. I'm still Googling and figuring it out. So bear with us, but at least we'll have sound from everybody this time around. So there's improvements. Stephanie, you can take it away.
Okay, so today we are going to talk about what are we talking about? I'm so sorry. I know we talked about this before, but now I can't remember.
We're
About the
talking
logistics.
about the difficulty for adding the other layers, like later layers.
Right. That's yeah.
And
So yeah.
we might also want to introduce ourselves and stuff.
Yes, let's do that. Okay. So hi everyone, and welcome to our project, Palimpsest Live. Cheryl Wilcox. Good morning. It's like I don't know what time, crazy early in Australia right now, and I think Cheryl might be having technical difficulties by the look on expression on her
Yeah,
face, but I'm not
it
sure.
feels like she cannot hear.
Yeah, Cheryl, can you hear us?
No, I
She's
don't think
pinging
because
somebody.
she has no expression.
Yeah.
No, I try
Okay,
to wait.
so hi Cheryl, can you see us? Can you hear us? Hi
Mm.
Cheryl. No? Hi? No? Uh-oh.
You are
Okay.
here.
Well, sorry, my son is texting me. So yes, we are the International Art Alliance. We are four of the seven members, and we're going to be sharing with you basically our, how it's been going with our test project. So our test project involves sending around wood panels that are 5 by 7, and each artist, each of the seven of us, has started like the first layer of this wood panel. But before we did that, we thought like, okay, there has to be an intention for each painting. So along with each wood panel that we paint the first layer on, we send this basically document along with the painting so that the next person in line can have an idea of what the painting's intention is, and can paint their layer on top of the previous layer while still allowing some of that layer to peek through. And then, it gets passed on to the next artist. So in the end, we will be just with this trial phase, we will have, 7 times 7 layers, so 49 layers um, in these 7 trial paintings. The real project, so the official project, starts after this. Um, and you know what? I'll get into that in a moment. But first, I'd just like to introduce everyone. So Denise, up here. Well, on my view, you're up here. Would you like to say where you're from and
I
maybe?
am, well, I'm originally from Holland, but I'm currently living about 45 minutes north of Montreal, so I'm in Canada. I'm about 6 hours away from you, Stephanie.
Yes, yeah. And Denise paints fabulous mixed media artwork, as you can see in the back there. Lots, where she basically depicts different urban scenes um, from where she's traveled and spent time. And she was at the Artist Project just in April, and will be at the Toronto Outdoor Art Fair in July, and the uh, International Design Show. Is that it? IDS?
Hmm.
Interior Design Show in Toronto and Vancouver. And Lara Spadetto.
Hi,
Um,
uh,
Hi.
I'm Lara. I'm Italian, currently living in the UK, and I paint. I love to paint portrait, and I paint also abstract. And I don't know what to add.
Well, you just had a wonderful
um,
interview with Kate Taylor this morning.
yes, maybe I talk too much today, so
No,
I lost my voice. No,
How was it though? Did
yeah,
you like it?
yes, yes. It's true. She helps a lot
It's somewhere else.
to
I can
follow.
hear you, Cheryl.
Ah, we can hear you now,
we can hear you, Cheryl. Can you hear us?
but she
She
cannot
cannot
hear us.
hear.
Oh, we can hear you. We're
Okay.
chatting away right now to try to get this sound.
Yeah.
to resolve the audio. Okay, so we'll get to Cheryl when she's figured out her audio
Yeah.
problem.
That's right.
I'd love to hear a little bit more.
However, the interview was very, I think it went well. I talk. I didn't have. I wasn't too shy, and so it was a long, like 40 minutes or so, and for me it was very fast. So,
Good, because I
it was
remember you
funny
were
because,
you were a little bit hesitant and a little nervous.
no, I was terrified. I was, but yesterday I was talking with my daughter, and I said that when we start this live on Facebook, I was terrified, and I remember at the beginning I was like this, scared to death to talk, and now it's strange because I was scared about the interview, but I wasn't scared to talk tonight. So
Awesome.
everything is moving smoothly, and day by day, maybe.
Yeah, you're getting more comfortable.
Yeah.
Yes, I feel more comfortable, and I can. I know that I can do some mistakes, many mistakes, but nothing happened. So. It could be funny also because today was funny because I wrote to my son that he was doing the exam, an exam at the university, and I wrote to him, don't call me after 4 o'clock. It was my 4 o'clock interview, and obviously at 5:04 he called me, and he continued to call me, and so at the beginning the interview was sometimes interrupted, and so, but it was funny because I was laughing because I couldn't do anything.
You know what? It made it entertaining. It made it entertaining.
Well, for everybody who wants to catch up on that, if you haven't seen it live, you have to go to Kate Taylor Arts on Instagram, and you will find it in her feed. And you definitely have to check it out because both Kate and Lara are awesome, and they had a wonderful conversation.
Yeah, they really did.
Yeah, it's good. Sometimes it was funny.
And so Lara paints portraits and abstract and everything, basically, right? And right now, though, you're focusing on portraits. Is that right?
Yes. And now I'm focusing. I want to. I started a series, just planning and start the first painting on. I think I will call it a rebirth, but I'm not sure.
That sounds good.
Yeah. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Cool. Cheryl, can you hear us now?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so either.
Okay, wait a second. I'm going to try and see if I can have her introduce herself.
For Cheryl.
For Cheryl, I don't know. What time is it? I think it's 5:30. It could be 5 o'clock in the morning.
It's early.
I hope she sees this. I don't think so.
I don't think so. Okay. I think maybe.
Oh, she's waving. That's something.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, she's waving goodbye.
To drop out and come back in again to see if that resolves the problem.
Yeah. So in the meantime, I'll introduce myself. So I'm Stephanie McLean. I'm an emerging artist. I'm right now. I guess I'm a portrait artist. I'm a portrait artist. I was focused on musicians, and now I'm kind of this. She's not a musician, so I'm moving away from that for a little bit for this series. Anyway, I wanted something to sort of re-energize me and mix things up a bit. I might go back to musicians. I might not. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm just kind of going with the flow. And I'm in Toronto, Ontario. And
I think that kind of leads us into what we want to talk about, because with our project, we sort of have to adjust to each other's styles and to each other's ideas. And it's
absolutely.
It's pretty challenging.
That worked.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, it was leaving the meeting and coming back.
Right.
For
Yeah.
some
There you
reason.
go.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, Cheryl, you're right on. You're just on time to introduce yourself. Boom. Yeah. Throw you right into the fire, right?
Dazed and confused.
Oh, well, it's early there.
Yeah, from Australia, and I love to paint the landscape.
Awesome. So
And
we
if I could just say, sorry, Cheryl is also an art teacher and has been doing art her whole life, and is also, as Denise
Accidentally.
and Lara, like an amazing artist. So I am the benefactor of all this experience of this emerging artist here gets to really benefit from my colleagues. I'm just very, very fortunate. Sorry. Okay.
But yeah, we were sort of thinking about talking a little bit about the experience of working on each other's paintings, which is basically the what our project is all about, and how that started out pretty okay. We were all pretty comfortable, but now that we're getting sort of farther into it turns out to be quite challenging. Like, would you all like to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Well, I can say that I haven't seen so much challenge yet because I think I'm going to be at the end of probably, well, it must be 3 paintings because I've seen 4 or 5. I've lost count. I think it's
I
3.
just sent you one yesterday.
Okay. Well, then, maybe, next week, maybe I'll have a different story, right? Maybe I'll be talking about the challenge.
Yeah. Well, you might have one to open then next week.
Yes. Yes. I'll save it. I'll save it to open it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So Lara, your reaction in our little promo sort of gives this all like.
It's funny, yeah, because you're realizing that I would be the last one in that painting. It means that it's really challenging. But all of us, we have to arrive at that stage to be the last one.
Can you explain a little bit to the audience why you feel it's so challenging to be the last?
I think now, to be honest, I feel challenging for every stage because every stage you are conscious that you at the beginning, because you have to leave space for the other artists that come after you, and in the middle because you don't want to touch too much what the other have done, and you have to think. And the last one because it's a big how do you call it when you have something heavy on your shoulder, and it's a responsibility, and yeah, but I love this challenge. I think that I love more now that when we thought about it, when we from the first idea we start to define what it should be. But now I can feel I think that it's teaching us something about ourselves, about our art, about how to create, how to challenge. It's much deeper than it seems at the beginning. I think.
Yeah. Cheryl, you and I had a really great conversation the other night. Thank you for that. No, because I've been thinking about it the whole time. And you brought something up that I thought was really valuable that I'd like to share if that's okay. And you're like, what is it? What are you talking about? I don't know. Maybe. Tell me what it is first in the chat.
Yeah, go for it.
No, but the fact that we each read an intention for the painting, I think, I think maybe what the big challenge is when it comes to the people towards the end of the line is that maybe that intention has maybe gotten a little lost. You know what I mean? From the very first intention. Yeah. And that's why maybe, as Cheryl put it, like, we're paralyzed when we open up the painting and we're just like, what should I do? So even though we read everything, I think it's important that we go back to the very first. Is that right, Cheryl? Would you say that's?
Yeah, because I've been noticing how people are really apprehensive and they're not getting it done. And I'm thinking, why aren't they getting it done? What's happening? And really what's happening is that they just don't want to, maybe they don't quite know what to do with it. So in a lot of ways, they don't know what to do. There you go.
Yeah.
And
But
I
I
don't
think it's
know
many.
how,
Go ahead.
yeah,
No, go
go
ahead.
Denise, what do you think?
No, well, I think it's many layers of there's the apprehension of touching somebody else. That's a very
Yeah,
like
yeah,
guttural sort of feeling of touching another artist's work. It's very sort of, as an
yeah,
artist, that's very difficult. So that's the first level. But then on top of that, you're not just stepping in somebody else's painting, but you're also stepping in somebody else's idea. And
yeah,
these ideas, especially
yeah,
transformation as a subject, has for many of these paintings been very emotional and very personal for people. The descriptions I've read for many of these paintings that I've seen so far have been very personal. And
yeah.
I think it's very difficult to place yourself into that.
And
Yeah.
therein lies the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's what you've got. It's too complicated. And so when people are coming up against it, they're not wanting to jump off.
I don't necessarily think it's the complicated is the right word. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
that it has something to do um, with the fact that it feels very, very personal,
yeah,
and you don't
yeah,
want to
yeah,
um, dishonor somebody
yeah.
else's feelings
Or
and
offend someone.
or offend somebody
Yeah,
by doing
yeah,
something. And
yeah,
I think that we all have to allow ourselves to be less precious
yeah.
about it.
But I think it's more that people, you don't want to upset someone else. It's not that it worries me at all, but other people in the group are too mindful of each other. Maybe that's it.
Maybe, yeah.
I
But
mean, it's
but
the
then
other way.
the funny thing is that up until this point, and we're a ways in now,
Mm.
nobody has offended anybody yet by doing something.
No, 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 no,
And
because
I
the
don't think
group.
there's a risk of that happening because we are all
No,
very
there's not.
thoughtful
But
people.
I still feel as if people they look at the work and they read the intention and they go, oh my God, I can't. Um, I'm not good enough. I don't feel like I can. I don't want to touch someone else's work. I don't know. That's what I'm sort of suggesting is
Yeah.
that people are often a little bit paralyzed to jump in,
I wonder. No, go ahead.
that's probably a really good talking. That's probably a really good talking point.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe we
that's
should,
probably a,
when Rose and Ross are here as well, because we should mention that Rose and Ross are not here today.
Right.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes, yes. I'm a terrible
They
host.
both had a family, or Ross had a family emergency to deal
yeah.
with, and Rose had a medical emergency to deal with. So both of them, we hope they are doing well, and we miss them very much, and we hope to see
Yeah,
them again next week. But
yeah.
I think that's a great point, Cheryl. That's something that we should be talking about on screen, because I think going forward into this project, especially when the panels are going to be larger, that's what I was wanting to say is I wonder if the panels get larger, if this problem gets bigger or smaller.
I think it will get larger
You
because
get
your
the, yeah?
fingerprint on them is going to be larger,
Yeah.
and therefore you are more exposed. Or so
But we've
I'm getting
also
that
been
vibe.
through it already, like the process. We've done it
Yeah,
already.
yeah, yeah.
So
I
we might
think
have a
there's a
little bit more
huge,
confidence.
uh, I think there's a
Eh,
huge difference between working that big.
yeah,
I know
probably.
with
You're
most
probably
people
right.
who I teach art to, and but as soon as you start to get bigger, the
Yeah,
complications.
that's true.
But then again, we can always sort of simplify it by, I don't know, going monochromatic. Maybe if we just use, I don't know, like your paintings, dark and light. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking. I'm only
I
thinking off
don't
the
think
top of my head here.
that's gonna change anything though, because you're still going to have to
Yeah,
touch somebody else's his work. So I don't think
yeah.
that giving it more restrictions is going to
because
help anything.
if you put a restriction, I think it becomes more difficult. If you have a freedom, you at least you can just put what comes into your mind. I don't know. I would feel more free to just decide when I receive the Canva and to feel what I want to feel. It is not always, it's never, it's immediate. Because, but I think also when we paint, our painting is not immediate. Maybe we can have a sparkle or something, but then you have to, or at least I need to metabolize the idea. Sometimes I have the imposter syndrome because I feel that for this reason it's not that I have the ideas and immediately, like on the movie, you can see the great painter that have the idea, start to paint immediately and have the masterpiece. But no, I have to think, to feel, and sometimes it's overthinking. But I mean, it's also with our painting. So I like the fact that we have to think about it.
Yeah.
Also, the difficulties, I love it.
Yeah. Remember when we were discussing the concept of using, of doing a passport, and we were almost giving each painting an identity?
Yes.
Maybe that could work so that we could actually slip into that sort of persona. So rather than feeling like an imposter, we can actually, I don't know, become that painting. And so if we can sort of think of the concept of the passport.
Yeah. Well,
but
also
for
me personally, what sort of had to switch in my mind was that very first painting that you create, that is you, right? That is your thing and your style and your idea, and you represent, it represents you in a way. At least when you start it does. And then when you get the next painting, at least for me, I was like, oh, but I am the painter who does, I work with my photographs, and I do a lot of texture, and I work in black and white, and I have all these things that I usually go to when I create something. But that's not what this is about.
Right.
This is about servicing the painting, and you have to, as a painter, have to come second stage. So you have to put yourself aside, and it's basically the same like what Cheryl says. You have to step into the identity of the painting, or basically the identity of the, because the painting becomes its own thing. It starts with me, or with Cheryl, or with Stephanie or Lara, but as soon as it's out of your hands, it's not yours anymore. And for me, I had to sort of tell myself, adding a layer to this painting doesn't need to represent me, my style, me as an artist. It needs to be something that benefits this painting.
Yeah, well said. I think that's
good. That means that I'm going to just add a layer of washi paper to it, which is something that is a material that I use in my work, but not in the way that I used it on Ross's painting. And on Lara's painting, for example, I am not a portrait painter at all, but I chose to do something in the face, which is something I normally would never do. So I think that is really important to sort of, for me anyway, that was a really important sort of mind switch.
Well, that's perhaps the direction that we have to go in more.
Yes.
And also perhaps we have to make the initial intention more important. The initial intention needs to be
But I do think that we are all taking that into account, though, because we are all carefully reading, and we've all been saying, I've heard everybody say, I really carefully read the descriptions, and I go with what has been written. So I think that has been guiding us, but I think maybe we have to feel free to
Or maybe we should develop our 6 different sort of characters and just sort of randomly throw them at each other.
Yeah, but I still like it that the initial layer that we all get to be ourselves in that, and that we get that chance to each start a painting that represents you.
Yeah, I was, while you were talking this, I was thinking it's like to have a child that is growing up, and this child is meeting different people, and also the different people help to create the personality of this child that becomes an adult at the end. So it's
that's very poignant.
Yeah.
Yes, but we don't want to. We don't want to create one of those confused kids by giving them lots and lots of different sorts of values.
No, but if you look at
too much freedom.
No, but if you look at the paintings, if you look at them and you see how they're developing, that is not the case. They are very put together. If you look at Rose's painting, for example, or Lara's painting that I was working on the day before yesterday, they're very put together. They're very much their own thing. They're not confused at all.
I wasn't worrying about that so much. I was just noticing that people were just sort of like sitting on a desk for a long time and trying to sort of work out why people weren't.
Maybe instead
that was more what we were trying to
but maybe instead of worrying about changing anything in the descriptions or the ideas of anything, maybe we just have to be stricter in the deadline. Maybe we just have to say,
right.
So now what you're doing is you're putting a construct on it, which is fine. Yeah.
You have 2 weeks.
Or maybe maybe when we open it, you have to open it when you've got a few hours. And you open it and you get it done.
Maybe we always have to open it on screen in one of the lives. And then that's your starting point.
Okay.
And then 2 weeks from then, you'll have
you
2
have
weeks.
To send it.
And then you have to account for the fact that you've sent it out. Right. And if you haven't sent it out, you'll better have a damn good reason.
Yeah.
What do we do though? Punish?
No, not that way. But having to justify and having to account in front of all these people live on Facebook.
Open it up and get it done, sort of thing.
It didn't happen. It's just accountability is very strong.
Yes, that's a good point.
I think I would need it. I need it because it's not time. It's not matter of doesn't have time. It's sometimes when you have just a few days, you work better because you have to. Your mind becomes more focused. So I think that to put a time limit that has to be done. It's that was like this at the beginning, to be honest. There's some of us like me start to delay, and I know that I delay, but it's my problem.
No. But maybe 2 weeks is just not enough. Maybe we have to say, well, there's some people in this group that need a little bit more time, and that is fine, as long as we know how much that is. Maybe we have to say instead of 2 weeks, we'll make it 3 weeks.
Right. But it's not that's not an unusual. That's not an unusual thing, is to procrastinate. Most people, we all like deadlines. I mean, how many people really? I mean, they get their tax done or whatever. Everybody wants a deadline.
Right.
Yeah, most people do. Most people work better with deadlines. They do.
It's true. No, you're right. You're right.
Yes.
Yeah. But you're right, because it makes us narrow our focus to what needs to be done. You're absolutely right, Lara. Like when you said that it
does
improves our focus. It really does. Yeah.
Hey, we got something done today.
Yay! Oh, it's 4:01.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. Thanks very much. And next week you'll find out more about us, and hopefully we'll have Ross and Rose on with us as well. Yeah, so thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. But we're going to stay on, right, guys?
Bye.
Okay, bye.